Commander Zekthar of the Galactic Enforcement Division stared at the holographic display with all four of his eyes, mandibles clicking in disbelief. The report from Sector 7 Alpha couldn't possibly be accurate. Run the combat analysis again, he ordered his aide, Lieutenant Voxel. Sir, I've run it 17 times. The data remains consistent. The young officer's tentacles trembled slightly. A single human vessel disabled an entire Korthak raiding fleet. Zekthar's chitinous plates shifted, the Vraxian equivalent of a frown. The Korthak were notorious pirates, their ships bristling with plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes. Their fleet consisted of 47 vessels, including 3 dreadnoughts. The human ship that had engaged them was classified as a light cruiser in their database. How many human casualties? Zekthar asked. None, sir. Not a single fatality. In fact, Voxel hesitated. Speak. The human vessel took no damage whatsoever. Across the bridge, Navigator Thys looked up from her console, her crystalline form refracting the ambient light. Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel. They're requesting permission to dock. Zekthar straightened his considerable bulk. Granted. Have them escorted to Docking Bay 7. An hour later, Zekthar found himself face-to-face with Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Determination. The human was smaller than he'd expected. Most species were. But something in her dark eyes suggested a predator's awareness that made his instincts twitch. Captain Chen, Zekthar began, settling his massive frame into a reinforced chair. Your actions in Sector 7 Alpha have raised questions. Chen smiled, an expression that never failed to unnerve other species with its display of teeth. I imagine they have, Commander. What would you like to know? How did one ship defeat 47 Korthak vessels without sustaining damage or casualties? We use standard human peacekeeping protocols, Chen replied matter-of-factly. Nothing excessive. Zekthar's translator struggled with the word peacekeeping. In Galactic Standard, it implied minimal force, de-escalation, and diplomatic resolution. Yet the tactical data suggested something else entirely. Walk me through your engagement, Zekthar requested. Chen activated a portable holographic projector. The Korthak fleet was preparing to raid the civilian colony on Kepler 442b. Population, approximately 2 million non-combatants, mostly Altarian refugees. The display showed the positions of both fleets. The human cruiser appeared laughably outgunned. We hailed them first, Chen continued. Standard diplomatic protocols. Requested they stand down and submit to arrest under Galactic Code 7-3. Piracy in protected space. And their response? They opened fire immediately. 47 ships full broadside. Approximately 12,000 plasma bolts and 300 quantum torpedoes in the first salvo. Zekthar winced. That level of firepower could crack a moon. Our shields absorbed the impact, Chen said casually. Then we responded proportionally. Proportionally? Zekthar's voice rose an octave. We disabled their weapon systems first. Surgical strikes with our particle beams. Targeted their gun ports and torpedo tubes without breaching their hulls. We didn't want unnecessary casualties. The hologram showed impossibly precise beam strikes, each one finding its target across the vast battlefield in seconds. When they attempted to ram our vessel, we disabled their engines. Again, minimal damage to crew quarters. Chen's finger traced the paths of the human weapons. Some of their smaller ships attempted to flee toward the civilian colony, so we used tractor beams to hold them in place. Your ship has tractor beams capable of restraining 47 vessels simultaneously. 31 at that point. We'd already disabled 16. Chen shrugged. Our main reactor produces 847 terawatts. It's adequate for most situations. Zekthar's mandibles went completely still. The main reactor on his dreadnought, twice the size of Chen's cruiser, produced 23 terawatts. The engagement concluded when their remaining ships surrendered, Chen finished. Total time, 14 minutes, 37 seconds. We transported their crews to our detention facilities and prepared their vessels for salvage. You transported their crews? Through active shields? Our transporters can penetrate most defensive systems, Chen explained patiently. We separated the officers from enlisted personnel, ran standard medical scans, and provided appropriate care for wounded. 3 Korthak required surgery. We have an excellent medical bay. Zekthar was quiet for a long moment. Captain Chen, what you describe? Most species would consider it impossible. Your ship's capabilities exceed anything in our databases. Commander, with respect, your databases are incomplete. Chen's expression grew serious. What you call light cruiser is actually a patrol vessel, one of our smallest military ships. We classify it as adequate for routine peacekeeping operations. Routine? The word came out as a strangled whistle. The Determination isn't even a frontline vessel. She's primarily used for training new officers and escorting civilian convoys. Chen leaned forward slightly. We build our ships for worst-case scenarios, Commander. In human space, excessive force means something very different than it does here. Zekthar felt a chill run through his exoskeleton. What would you consider excessive force, Captain? Chen was quiet for a moment, seemingly considering her words carefully. If the Korthak had actually harmed civilians, we would have sent a destroyer. If they had killed refugees, she paused. Well, let's just say the Galactic Council wouldn't have needed to hold a trial. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. Commander, Chen added, her voice gentler now, humanity didn't ask to join your Galactic Council to conquer anyone. We asked because we believe in peace, in protecting those who can't protect themselves. But we learned long ago that sometimes, overwhelming force applied precisely is the most merciful option available. She stood to leave, then turned back. The Korthak prisoners are ready for transfer to your custody. They've all received medical treatment and proper meals. Most of them have requested asylum. Apparently, our detention facilities are more comfortable than their own ships. As Captain Chen departed, Zekthar stared at the tactical display, processing what he'd learned. Humanity's definition of proportional response had just reshaped his understanding of galactic power dynamics. He made a mental note to recommend upgrading humanity's threat assessment in the Council databases. From minor concern to be very, very polite. After all, what humans called excessive force, the galaxy might not survive to define.